Welcome back to Market Day Report. Well, we've got a few things going on here today. First off, USDA not out with their weekly export sales report. It was scheduled, but we have a national day of mourning. That for the funeral of former President Carter. And so that means the NYSE and NASDAQ are closed today. Also means that, well, government offices are closed, and so therefore no report from USDA. We'll just push that another day for a big report day tomorrow because we get a WASDE report. We also get an annual crops production report. The WASDE at 11 o'clock Central, and then we get the crops production report thrown in there. So a big day coming tomorrow. So that's kind of where we're starting your morning. Here is what is still open. Energy markets, FX, normal hours. Metals, normal hours. The interest rates will trade till 12:15 Central Time. And again, livestock markets till 12:15 Central. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into the markets. We're trading corn this morning. Overnight session was lower, but the March and May open higher, up a penny at 4.55 on the front month, but one tick lower on the December, 4.44 3/4. What about soybeans? Well, the trade is in the red. January, 9.86, penny and a half lower, and the March, 9.90 and a half, down 4. Soy meal contracts closed the session yesterday lower overnight and lower to start the morning. Soy oil was higher yesterday, and we're kind of continuing that trend with the exception of January. Now to the wheat market, July contracts in Chicago at 5.54, that's down 3. The July is new crop for what we call Kansas City or hard red, and that's 5.65, down 2 3/4 cents. And spring wheat, July, 6.01 1/4, it's down 2. Cotton futures in New York, down 20 points. Front month March at 68.03. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. Tommy, I don't want to say it will be a ho-hum day, but probably not expecting a whole lot to happen. Would you agree?
Yeah, we're going to, earlier this week when I met with you on Monday, you said this is our first full week. There's no way we can consider this a full week with the national holiday for President Carter. Looking over at the stock indice futures close, it's just not something you see in a world where they trade about 23 hours a day. So Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, a whole bunch of financial stuff over at CME Group closed. We do have some price action in some of the markets. One of the old sayings on the floor with the old pit guys was never sell a dull one. You're already seeing corn drift higher. It's on the highs as we speak. Soybeans coming back. They tend to push the markets around at night, and then the real adults show up. The kids play at night, and the adults show up during the day. When I say the adults, I mean the funds, the hedge money, the big money comes together and plays. Seeing some action in the meets, we'll probably go on break and talk about that. But overall, outside markets, real quick, you did ask about that earlier. Gold up 20, seeing some strength in silver, copper, crude oil inching back, natural gas has been volatile, and of course, Bitcoin's down a couple thousand. So it's an interesting day, and I have to tell you, the second I get off, we're going to take a break. We're going to do meets, but clients want to get hedged up or protected for this report. Some people want upside because they're heavily sold. Some people want downside, and I'll be here to help them with both, my friend.
Yeah, we're just looking at the gold and silver all moving higher, and the 10-year yield, we talked about that yesterday, trending just a bit lower. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Livestock futures with Tommy Grisafi. Market Day Report continues after this. An important lesson to learn in business, something's only worth what somebody else will pay for it, right? You can put whatever you want on a product, price tag, but at the end of the day, it's what somebody will pay for it. So what are cattle worth? Well, the asking price right now in the South is $200. The bids from the packers at $195. So maybe it's worth more than 195, but less than 200. We'll have to wait and find out maybe tomorrow before we get really cash cattle moving. Live cattle futures, though, are trading this morning up $1.67 on the February at 195.40, $1.40 higher on the April at 196.92. That may have more to do with USDA saying, wait a second, we may not reopen the border to the Mexican live cattle coming in. Feeder cattle prices are higher. January 268.42, that's up 285. $1.90 higher on the April at 268.05. What about hogs? Hogs have lost 4% of their value over the last month, but trying to turn the corner. And 202 on the gain for February, 81.52. April at 87.02. That's $1.95 higher. Let's go back to Nesvick Trading's Tommy Grisafi. Okay, Tommy, what are you watching?
Well, yesterday we had some big spread activity in the cattle market. We had a pretty good down day. We're getting a lot of that back. Some of the various sources I listened to that do a roundtable of cash trade said cash trade was impressive the last few days. So there's a pretty big difference here between the futures and the cash. We'll see if that's going to, the big word they use in futures and options is converge. Upon talking to you, my friend, Jan Feeder's up 320, getting back now all of yesterday's losses. That news on the southern border, very important. Of course, we have this a changing of the guard, we'll say, here in presidents here in America, and the word tariff is thrown around a lot. So impressive day here in cattle, feeder cattle and hogs. We'll take it. I know the hog market needed it. And the cattle bull still has their horns out. And the only thing I can say is it just feels like $8 corn. So it's fun talking to people about cattle, but it feels like we're having our $8 corn market. And I'm very interested. I look forward to seeing where this market is 1 year from today and looking back on all these recordings and see if we actually help people manage risk.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to look at it. Thanks, Tommy. Tommy Grisafi with Nesvick Trading. Okay, speaking of that,